So the time has come, and you want to learn a new tabletop role-playing game. However, changing from a system you're already used to is intimidating. What if I told you it doesn't have to be? Let us begin. Hi, I'm Dreaded GM, professional voice actor and game master. I make videos and stream live games here on the internet. If you want to find out more about what I do, check out the links below. Learning a new system can be intimidating. They're complex and filled with rules and interactions. Can A work with B in situation C? Can Rob's character use their special powers to get out of my giant space worm's interdimensional gut? What page is it on again? Having a system you're already comfortable with is stress-free. You know the ins and outs. You've played through those situations and figured that stuff out. And to that I say, you didn't always know the system. You learned it. And the purpose of this video is to help you get just as comfortable with any other TTRPG system by learning it and playing it, so that you can make it just as comfortable as the system you're currently playing. And on top of that, if you haven't learned a TTRPG system before, everything in this video will help you learn your first TTRPG. And today's video is brought to you by Wootton Forge. Wootton Forge is an amazing tabletop accessory company here in Australia making gaming gear for your tabletop needs. They are heirloom quality and made from Australian woods. And if you use the promo code LETUSBEGIN, you will get 10% off your total order. So, firstly, some considerations. When it comes to learning a new TTRPG system, it's very important to have a healthy interest in the system itself. If you don't have a healthy interest in the system, you will find your drive and curiosity a little bit lacking. Learning a new TTRPG will require time and practice. There is no overnight solution as far as I can tell, and trust me, I've looked. You will need to learn the system and reiterate using the system as you learn it with your players. Alright, so you've decided to play a new system. You've gone out and, unless it's rules light, you pick up the book and this is what you get. A massive tome filled with player options, monsters, settings, GM options, and you're a little bit intimidated about how you're meant to get all this in here. Though it doesn't have to be. Because all we need to do is follow the 4 phases, or as I like to call them, the 4 Ps. The 4 Ps stand for preparation, practice, play, and perfection, or perfect. Right, time for the first of the phases, preparation. It's this phase that sets you up for the other phases, which are practice, play, and perfect. It is here that you will gain your knowledge and tools to be able to build your abilities. Preparation is probably the most important phase as it sets you up for success in the next phases. In the preparation phase, we're going to have a few steps. Step 1, learn the rules. Learning the rules can happen in a couple of ways. The first would be to read the book. Now, a book like this can be intimidating. However, it doesn't have to be. Reading a TTRPG book can be incredibly fun, as it's filled to the brim with cool pictures, cool ways of playing games, and all manner of awesome things. You can take your time with it. You can decide how long it's going to take you to read the book and just go with it. Also, while reading the book, it's the perfect time to get inspiration for the sort of game that you want to run. I would highly recommend having some way of keeping notes while you're reading. You can write down questions that you have about the book, the setting, the mechanics, and any of those cool ideas that you have while flipping through the book. You can take notes. You're going to use these notes later on in this phase as well. Now, not all TTRPG books are the same. Some books contain everything that you need as a game master to run it. Others are split into multiple volumes, and some are just PDFs. Now, if you aren't able to read the book, there is a vast amount of online tools that can help you learn the rules. Stuff where content creators have made stuff to help you learn the rules. Or you could join a Discord community or another community and enjoy playing the game and ask your questions there. Another recommendation I have is to check out a channel called Don't Stop Thinking. Don't Stop Thinking made a series on how to play this game. It's all animated, it's all voice acted, and it's story told as well. Very interesting. CJ did a great job. I'm going to include a link below for you to go check that out. But there are other resources just like that one to learn systems, and you should definitely check them out if you're unable to read the book. Accessibility is very important. So if you're still having trouble getting through your book or your PDF or through the videos or looking through your notes, then there is one thing that I can recommend that might help you out. There is a study technique known as the Pomodoro technique, which helps you and your productivity with studying and other things, and we can definitely use it for learning a TTRPG. We've included information on the screen here. Thank you, Elytian, and also a link for you to check out below. Still have one more cool tip for you as well. If you think about it, a lot of the skills that we pick up in systems are transferable. Rolling a dice and adding a modifier? You've done that before. Remembering how to cast a spell using spell slots? You've done that. So if you have played other TTRPG systems, try to consider the other rules that you've used before. Right. Step 2. Tools. You remember those notes that you were keeping as you were learning the rules? Whether that was reading the book or watching a video or talking to people in the community? It's time to use them. What we're going to do in this phase, and what I want you to do in this phase, is to develop some tools to use at the table during practice and play. Some tools that I can recommend that you make are cheat sheets. A cheat sheet for yourself and a cheat sheet for your players. A sheet filled with the rules that you can reference and the players can reference during gameplay. A hot tip for that is to leave space on there to write down notes on things that you want to check up after a session. If the game does have status effects, you could write down those status on cards and then hand them to players when they are inflicted by them or they happen to get those statuses. Now, don't be afraid to get creative. Anything that you create will most probably benefit the table, and you can refine those tools as you play. Now, a lot of the time, there are third-party publishers and even the publishers themselves release tools that they've made for you. An example of that is a GM screen that has all that cheat sheet information in front of you as a game master, and often there are cards that can be handed out. The second P is practice. Using this phase, any practice done before gaming will help the system run better at the table. You can practice at any time, and you don't even need anyone to practice with. Though, practicing with someone would be a lot more fun. Equipped with what you developed in the last phase, you should be able to see what rules you need to work on and update your tools. On top of that, the practice phase is awesome because you're able to set your own pace to explore the setting and the system. So, you've prepared. You've read the rules, you've made some tools, and now it's time to see how good your preparation is. We've looked at tables, monster stat blocks, how to apply your story to the setting, player options. There is a great many things to practice when it comes to TTRPGs. So where do we start? Well, honestly, that's up to you. You know the rules that you're not quite sure on, especially if you've played TTRPGs before and you're able to transfer over the mechanics that you already understand. I can make some recommendations, however, and with that, I would have you consider what makes a tabletop role-playing game. Now, I would use the pillars of play, however, I'm not sure if that's copyrighted, so I made my own. I call it the cornerstones of campaigning. The cornerstones of campaigning are roleplay, encounters, traversing, and world building. These 4 things I believe make a TTRPG. Now, I won't go too much into the cornerstones of campaigning. You can probably come up with your own understanding of exactly what they are, and it's probably going to be a future video at some point. But if you do consider them, if they are the building blocks of what makes a TTRPG, there is most probably mechanics that revolve around them. If you aren't sure exactly how the mechanics work around the cornerstones of campaigning, you can look into what needs practice for the session that you plan to run. But yes, take the time to learn the mechanics for the game at your own pace and design your session for game day in the play phase to suit what you've practiced. Don't forget to talk to your players about what you have practiced and what you have planned coming up. Alright, let's move on to the next step. Step 2 of the practice phase. Session 0. Now, you might be thinking that Session 0 belongs in the preparation phase. However, I don't believe it does, and here's why. Before you can sit down at a Session 0 with a brand new TTRPG, I believe that you need to know the rules and have some of them practiced and understood. I think it's important for you to gather your players at this point because you now have an understanding of the rules and how to create characters. There's a great many other things that you need to consider as well. That being the game that you're running, the expectations that you want to set, the rules, and anything else that might come to mind. Not only that, Session 0 is the perfect time to hand out your tools to the players that you've created and explain how they work. Now, in a Session 0, there are a lot of steps and things that you need to go through, and we're not going to go through it in today's video. That being said, take the time to sit with your players and explain to them that this is a new system. Let them know that you want to cultivate a collaborative learning experience of the system with them, and so you can learn the rules together and revise them for future sessions. Now, one tip I will give you, which is an expectation I believe you should set as Session 0, is a play forward clause. If at any point during gameplay a rule needs to be checked, consider allowing the GM just to make the call and move forward. Write down the rule that needs to be checked and then look it up at the end of the session in the perfect phase. It's important to do this because you'll be able to continue the game and not get stuck on a certain ruling and whatnot, preserving the flow and fun of the game. The third P is play. This phase focuses on play. By now, you should have a strong base of experience from all the reading and tool development that you did in phases 1 and 2. All you need to do now is enjoy playing the game. While you play, you should still be trying to learn and try to cultivate a collaborative learning of the system. Focus on developing good gaming habits and fostering a healthy table. Play is one of the most difficult and challenging phases. However, it's also the easiest phase. Play is incredibly hard because you've been building up to this moment. The nerves are high. You are sitting at the table looking down at the book that you've read, the tools that you've made, and the players are gathered and you are about to play. But guess what? Congratulations, you made it. You're sitting at the table and you're looking across and you're about to start a brand new adventure in a brand new system. And that is awesome. And you should take that moment to take a deep breath and start. At Dreaded GM, we like to say, let us begin. And you know what? Enjoy what you have brought to the table. And don't forget that you have set up a play forward clause. Anything that does not fit within the rules, make the call. Write it down, look it up later. Now, at the end of the play phase, there's something very cool that you can do that I do at my tables, and that is favorite moments and maintenance. Favorite moments is taking the time to point out highlights for each player that happened at the table. You go around and you give a highlight for each person from the perspective of every player. It might be a bit long, but it's a lot of fun. A lot of people do favorite moments in different ways from my experience, and it's very cool. Now, maintenance. I'm going to explain maintenance in the form of a metaphor. Consider the table and the players and the GM a vehicle of storytelling. If that is a vehicle, well, it needs maintenance. You need to make sure that the seatbelts are working, that the oil is changed, that you are having good alignment and whatnot. It's really important to maintain your vehicle so that you are driving to the best possible story. And how do you do that? Well, just take the time to have a quick conversation about the mechanics, the pacing, player interaction, GM interaction, and tighten that up for the next session. In fact, you can take anything that you have from favorite moments and maintenance and then move that on into the next phase. Right, the final phase, perfect. All you need to do now is to continue playing the game, learning about it and talking about it with other people, like your players and online communities. Put in the time to make this system comfy, and soon it'll be just like the other systems you know. Look back at the previous phases and consider if there's any other way you can up your game with this brand new system that you've been working on. Continue to play and grow and develop and enjoy the system. Once you're feeling comfortable enough, consider homebrewing for your table, making up your own rules, your own adventures, your own items, player options, and continue to invest in the system. And soon, it'll be just as beloved as any other system that you've played in the past. It does beg the question, which system is next? Alright, that's the video. Thank you so much for watching. Keep playing, keep creating, go with love and luck, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye. If you want to find out hi, what's this? What is this? Why am I doing this? What's this? Huh? Hi, I'm DreadGM. You gotta calm down. You gotta calm down. Damn it. This is hard.